All right, welcome back. I have Marcia here with us again in studio. We were just able to talk a little bit about our EDC annual meeting that we have coming up, and we also want to talk a little bit about the last EDC board meeting that we had.
Right, so the EDC board only meets 4 times a year, so we really do try to coordinate an experience, an opportunity for board members to see a different part of the community, of the county. But that SPARK is also bringing relevant information. Our board is made up of, people like you, Janelle. They're influencers in our community. So what can we arm you in addition to project updates? And that the EDC certainly holds SPARK staff to metrics that we report out on a quarterly basis.
So I have a couple of kind of silly questions, I guess.
Sure.
So you kind of mentioned it, but who is on the EDC board? You mentioned it's this public-private relationship, and so just a couple of examples would, I think, be helpful. And then also your team. You have a really robust team here in Livingston County.
I do.
And what are their roles, and how do they serve in their capacities?
So the EDC board, currently we have 24 board members, and the way that it is panned out is everyone at least is a funder into the EDC as an organization. So we have public sector members like Hamburg Township Supervisor Pat Hull, Genoa Township Supervisor Bill Rogers. Again, our board chair is Nathan Bird. We do have a Livingston County Commissioner representative. This year it's Carol Griffith. So we have a lot of public and community stakeholders at the table. And then we also have Ron Long, who is president of Bank of Ann Arbor Livingston, Mike Kennedy with Lindau and Associates, you and Pam with the Brighton Chamber. So we have that private sector and individuals that really are working more in the private sector world in addition to our communities.
Again, when you're talking about looking through different lenses, those different perspectives are so valuable.
Yeah. And yes, over the last few years, my team has changed and it's grown, and that's really great because 12 years ago, this contract that the EDC and SPARK had was 2 people. That was it. I have a team of 4.
It's amazing.
There's 4 of us. Yeah. Okay. So, in addition to myself, Nick Jablonski is also full-time with Ann Arbor SPARK and is a business development manager in Livingston County. And so he is new into the world of business development. He has spent previous at Ann Arbor SPARK on our entrepreneurial team.
Okay.
So he knows working with small businesses, and he kind of has that really quick point of reference with colleges and universities.
Awesome.
We have Tammy Salisbury, and she is our development coordinator. And a few years ago, the EDC board said, we really want to see SPARK do more, but with more, you need to fundraise.
Absolutely.
And so Tammy, in addition to being the point of contact at our annual meeting, she is our primary fundraiser on behalf of the EDC. And then Denise Murray is our Main Street coordinator, marketing coordinator and business development manager just in the city of Brighton. And so she kind of has a special niche role where she does work with small retail or Main Street businesses, sort of in lieu of a DDA director. Brighton.
I was going to ask, how does that tie in? And I wasn't aware, I'm not aware if they had a DDA director.
Right. So former city manager, Nate Geinzer, had the notion we have this great contractual relationship with the EDC at a county level. Like the county doesn't have or need an economic development person because we have SPARK through the EDC. So could there be a contractual person within the city of Brighton doing local economic development? So she kind of fills that role in addition to, they have a building person and they have other, so it was kind of like a team effort through the DDA in the city.
Awesome.
That created Denise's position. So yeah, they don't have a DDA director like Howell does, and Denise really is that
kind of boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, yeah. And works with the Main Street businesses and has been, does the retention visits with Brighton businesses just like I would with our larger employers.
It's really unique, and
it is.
It's even for me. Like I said, I kind of always learn something new. I love the SPARK team is phenomenal. It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to work with all of you.
Very proud of everybody.
Yeah, and as you should be. It's been, great getting to know Nick and Tammy, and even Denise. I don't see Denise as much because she is the boots on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But just getting the updates from the at the EDC board level, it's just really refreshing to hear all of the great things taking place countywide. Because truly, from a regional perspective, if the whole county is doing well, we're all doing well, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So collaboration for the greater good. I love it.
But we had our meeting. I like to take our meetings to different places. And
Yes.
so we did have the quarterly meeting at a business in Fowlerville, Total Security Solutions. And they make anything bullet resistant, anything.
Yeah.
So,
But really interesting, like, barriers. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they can do furniture. They can do, I found it interesting because when we were there, Jim Richards, thank you,
Yeah.
who was the CEO, he was talking about, a long time ago, it used to be that they were in the business to protect money, but now they're in the business to protect people.
correct.
And there was one other thing he mentioned. I don't know. I think it was
I
like
think it was assets and people.
like assets and people, or even technology and people.
Oh yeah, technology and people.
Yep. So it was really great. So Marcia, I'll let you keep going on the location there, because Total Security is really unique in different things
they
that they
really
do.
are, and really niche. They've just continued to grow, and it's been great to continue to see through the relationship that Spark has had with Jim over the years. And every year we sit down and, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, have you thought about that? Hey, there's a program for this. And Jim read the book Traction back in 2017 and really hopped on the board of the Entrepreneurial Operating System, or EOS, way of doing things. And so his business is very much EOS oriented, and just see the culture that he has created with that company, choosing to be in Fowlerville, and yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that was, EOS is, like Marcia mentioned, Entrepreneurial Operating System, a book, Traction, written by Gino Wickman.
Yes.
It's really gained a lot of traction in Michigan because Gino is from Michigan.
He is from Michigan.
And there's multiple businesses, especially manufacturing in the region, that operate through EOS. It's also kind of big in the chamber industry as well.
Correct.
So again, it kind of caught fire in Michigan, and so we see it in a lot of Michigan chambers. But it was really interesting to hear his perspective and how they've adapted that and made it work for their company. But again, they've kind of reaped their rewards with the consistent growth year after year.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Really cool resource, just a really cool opportunity to learn about what our businesses are doing. So we appreciate you taking that on the road.
Get the insight, and sometimes you're gonna take a tour and just it's great. I love doing that.
But so you mentioned though that you sit down with Jim and you talk to him every year about different resources available. So I wanted to just touch on that a little bit today. Is
resources.
We've got different things going on: Manufacturing Day, Job Shadow Day, and Going Pro.
So resources event-wise, we just wrapped up on October 6th. We held a Manufacturing Day on National Manufacturing Day. And again, that allowed our local businesses to host student tours to get a firsthand peek of what goes on in their building, what is being done in Livingston County, and these amazing environments that, I don't think everybody really still fully understands what manufacturing looks like today. So that was really great. I think we had just a little over 100 students from all 5 of our school districts, and we had 6 employers participate in Manufacturing Day. And then the other event that, again, is helping bring students into our local employers is Job Shadow Day. And I think today it's still going on. It was yesterday and today, where hundreds of students are just spending half a day following somebody or just going to tour on their own. And maybe they thought they liked veterinary medicine, and maybe they're going to come away going, yeah, I really don't like it so much. Or it's like, oh, I absolutely love public government and want to go into this even more. So,
well, and the overall goal is that they get that experience, that touch point to sit there and say that, okay, I may or may not like this, because you really don't know until you get a look at it firsthand. And what the, you might have a vision in your mind of what it's supposed to look like, but when you're actually there, that's not what you had envisioned at all. So
we really do encourage employers to keep that in mind. If I'm visiting somebody in May, like, hey, you'll get a follow-up, but think about this 3 or 4 months down the road. And then program wise, there are, so like Going Pro, the Going Pro Talent Fund. So many of our businesses know this is the state's biggest training grant of the year. I think there's in excess of 10, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember the number.
But a lot.
But it was 10 million more than what it was last year.
Exactly.
And again, any business that has training needs for either themselves as a business owner or for their employees, to consider these funds. But again, it's just a one-time open application period. But we have so many
and that's
more.
Open now. Coming up.
It's coming up.
Okay.
I think everything opens up in November, but you do have to work with your Michigan Works rep. And so you or I could put any business owner in touch with the right person from Michigan Works Southeast. Or if anybody knows that their building is located on Byron Road next to Trinity Health, you can go visit them at their Livingston office center.
Yeah.
But they also have resources for training at any time. It's not just the Going Pro. That's just the most popular because it's huge. And
what business can apply for that?
Any business can, for training that might result in a tangible skill. So if it's a skill that it can't just be something just within your industry. It would have to be something that is a transferable skill. That's the word I was looking for.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So lots of resources.
Yeah, that's
always.
A ton. Now, what else do they have beyond Going Pro?
So Michigan Works, our Michigan Works locally, they do have a budget of federal dollars that can be used for on-the-job training, or if you are hiring a new person, there can be some new employee training as well. So it really just starts with a conversation, either with myself or bringing in one of our partners with Michigan Works Southeast to hear about your needs and to see, there are just a lot of other different ways that we can connect, whether that's work experience dollars, training dollars. It really is a myriad of funds. It just starts with a conversation because I can help break it down.
Yes, and that's what we want to make sure we're doing. We're getting the word out. We're expressing that the resources are out there. We're here to help connect you and make it happen. So thank you, Marcia, so much for joining us today. We had a wonderful conversation, and thank you again for sharing these resources. And we want to make sure that people are aware. So before we wrap up today, I just want you to share again, real quick, your contact information, so that way, if anybody wants to reach out about anything we discussed.
So my email is Marcia, MARCIA, at AnnArborUSA.org.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us, Marcia, and I'm sure we'll see you again on our show soon.
Thanks, Janelle.